Welcome back inside Rexall Place. The Oilers 0-2 at home so far this year as we have a look at our matchup in goal.
Entering.
Take a look at these two young goaltenders. Ben's faced this club 3 times. He's won 2 of them.
Entering. Stereo mix.
Scrimmons has faced the Lightning 4 times. Has won 2 as well.
Unchecked.
Steven Stamkos, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins set for the opening face-off. You see Steve Kazari, Dave Jackson, the referees for this game. It will be Jackson to drop the puck. And we're underway. Ryan Callahan. That center couldn't dump it in. It's played back to Jordan Eberle and controlled now by Anton Stralman. And Stralman leading the Lightning at a +5, partnering with Victor Hedman. And he will open with Matt Carl, as we told you about on Lightning Live pregame tonight.
John Cooper entering into his 3rd season, 2nd full one, as he was a Dec. Finalist last year. Dallas Eakin, this is his 2nd season behind the bench for the Oilers.
Art Marincin will play the puck in for the Oilers. Grabbed by Stralman, off the glass and out of the zone. Mark Fane signed as a free agent. Of course, we know him as a member of the New Jersey Devils for 4 years. Now part of the Oiler defense. They tried to upgrade it in the offseason. Jordan Eberle cuts in. His pass in front knocked down. In the slot there by Stralman. And Carl reaching for it. Taylor Hall has the puck. Taylor Hall back at the point. Here's a shot by Andrew Fair's. A save by Bishop. Rebound tried knocked down. And Nugent-Hopkins prevented from putting that puck in the empty net by Carl.
Boy, something that was really interesting. It was a little bit of a turnover. They couldn't get the handle on the puck, the Lightning, and couldn't decide who was going to take it. Then the Edmonton Oilers dropped in on it very quickly.
Leon Draisaitl, the 18-year-old, is dumped at the Lightning line, and Jeff Petrie back for Edmonton. He'll angle it to David Perron. He's working with Teddy Purcell. Andre Schuster paired with Jason Garrison on the revamped Lightning defense. Mark Barberio making a season debut tonight as he is expected to be paired with Eric Brewer. Garrison with a pass out for J.T. Brown at center. Gets the red line and chips it in. Getting to it. Partnering with Victor Hedman.
I think the importance here for the Edmonton Oilers is a much better defensive play. You mentioned the Calgary Flames problems, 30th in the year last year, but the Edmonton Oilers were 27th, and this is a team that needs to be a much better defensive team. And Jim, I think Cam Talbot in goal for the Oilers has got to be a guy who gets off to a great start. It was not a good October, November for him last year, and he's going to have to be much more solid for the end of November. These teams were 13th and 14th in the Western Conference. That can't happen again. You can't catch up and get that far behind the NHL.
His pass in front knocked down. Slot there by Stralman.
Searching.
And Carl reaching for it. Taylor Hall
through the puck and interception.
Chadwick Phillips. Deep search to count. Untitled video. Loading tape. NHL November. Loading tape. YouTube decide. NHL NHL. YouTube tab item. YouTube.
That's one way to bring them to their feet. A minute.
Tried to by Scrimmage. Rebound Barberio.
2 minutes.
For the
2 minutes.
Drew has stopped. And he gets it back again over skates
0% vertically
grabbed
scroll.
by Tyler Johnson. Out to Brewer.
YouTube tab
wide.
Roomy tab.
Barberio in for the point.
Volume decreased to
Working with Drouin. He's checked by Arcabello.
YouTube video player.
Worked free by Johnson. Oilers come up with it.
Play keyboard short.
And they get it out to center ice. Brewer.
YouTube play keyboard.
The Oilers for 4 years earlier in his career. Tyler Johnson shooting, and it's deflected out by Ben Scriven.
We're quite yet, and there's an icing call. And this is going back to the mid-'80s as well between Edmonton and Calgary. You got one star at one end that's getting a lot of the attention, so what does the guy on the other side do? This is Johnny Gaudreau. They're trying to make something out of nothing. He's got such an ability to put the puck into a safe area. Another common thread, keeping the legs moving and making something happen. 3 great moves that created a scoring chance out of basically no chance. McDavid against Monahan again. And McDavid won the face-off. Russell take the shot.
In Syracuse, where he had a goal and 2 assists plus 4.
20 volume.
Relay back to Schuster. With the shot, doesn't make it through. Conley recovers it, though. Garrison back for Conley. Tried to center. That's off an Oilers stick. Brian Boyle works the boards for the Lightning. Conley and Brendan Morrow rounding out this unit. Once again, they had some strong shifts with the Lightning as they closed out that win in Vancouver. Lightning had the 3-2 win, made it 4-2 in the third, and did a good job of shutting down Vancouver. Here's Boyle throwing a check there on Joensuu as Schuster has it back inside the Lightning line.
Well, you can tell where they're struggling. This club is not bad in offense, Edmonton, but in their own zone they struggle a little bit. They seem a little bit tentative.
Vane comes across for it. Tip by Eberle, right to Callahan. Andre Palat shooting it. It bounced off Stamkos and wide. Steven Stamkos with 5 goals in 3 games. The NHL's third star from last week. Palat feeding it now to Stroman. Eberle on him. The wrist shot just skims wide of Scrivens. Stamkos takes it, fires along the goal line, and Scrivens had the stick down. Palat forced back to center by Nugent Hopkins. And here he comes with Eberle. The pass hit Eberle in the leg, and Palat gets it back. Nugent Hopkins works to recover it for Edmonton. Now to Justin Schultz, kept wide by Stroman. A drop pass to no one, and Palat will take it with Callahan. Joined now by Nemestikov. Pass was tipped off his leg, comes to Schultz.
5 minutes, 22 seconds.
They get it out to Brewer. With the Oilers for 4 years earlier in his career. Tyler Johnson shooting. Deflected out by Ben Smith.
Connor McDavid. That is 100 goal. Career point. As he gets goal 13. Another turnover. Tyler Pitlick takes advantage. And it's 2 to Edmonton. And this is all
Jonathan Drouin getting his first
gets
start in
caught
the National
flat-footed,
Hockey League.
allows his man to go through. But what a play by Russell, breaking it up. Quick transition game, and sometimes simpler is better. This is a simple play where you're looking for pass all the way. Instead of making the pass, the quick release gets under the arm of Elliott. For Elliott, a disappointing start. This one goes right underneath. He overplayed it to the outside, and it found room underneath the elbow.
Tyler Pitlick's been a 5-year pro, and just about every time he gets close to being a regular, he's been hurt. And he's in this opening night lineup, gets a goal.
Don't you think it's because of injury?
He just really was very desperate to make the save.
Stint in Syracuse, where he had a goal and 2 assists plus 4. With the puck, it's Brett Conley. Relay back to Schuster. With the shot, doesn't make it through. Conley recovers it, though. Garrison back for Conley, trying to center. That's off an Oilers stick. Brian Boyle works the boards for the Lightning. Conley and Brendan Morrow rounding out this unit. Once again, they had some strong shifts for the Lightning as they closed out that win in Vancouver. Lightning had the 3-2 win, made it 4-2 in the third, and did a good job of shutting down Vancouver. Here's Boyle throwing a check there on Joensuu as Schuster has it back inside the Lightning line.
Well, you can tell where they're struggling. This club is not bad in offense, Edmonton, but in their own zone they struggle a little bit. They seem a little bit tentative.
Vane comes across for it. Tip by Eberle, right to Callahan. Andre Palat shooting it. It bounced off Stamkos and wide. Steven Stamkos with 5 goals. The NHL's third star from last week. Palat feeding it now to Stroman. Eberle on him. The wrist shot just skims wide of Scrivens. Stamkos takes it. Scrivens has the stick down. Palat forced back to center by Nugent Hopkins. And here he comes with Eberle. The pass hit Eberle in the leg. And gets it back. Works the recovery for Edmonton. Justin Schultz kept wide by Stroman. A drop pass to no one. Take it with Callahan. Good now by Nemestikov. Pass was tipped off his leg. Comes to Schultz. Approaching a referee to script to count. On and it's curled back out by Hendricks. Get an icy call against
8 minutes to 8.
28. Actually, Mike to Edmonton. The Echoes closing in.
9 minutes.
And Jones to a big body. About 214 pounds. Down low. Ferris up top. Over for Jeff Petrie. Shooting off the goal post. Here's another try. It's tipped off the end glass. Petrie's drive sticks out of Bishop off the post. Boyd Gordon, the former Capital. Checked by Philpott. He got the puck away. Joensu reaching for it. Lightning get control. Drouin couldn't get it by Petrie. He'll throw it in behind the net. And the Oilers go for a change to get their forecheck going. Hendricks with a hit on Stroman. That gets the crowd going here at Rexall Place. The shots are 4-3 Lightning.
Yeah, one of the things, that's what we're talking about. They like to keep their D in a little bit longer at the blue line as well. That's why it's important if you can move it quickly.
David Perron handing that puck off to Nikitin, the former Blue Jacket. Try to cycle it, and the referee got in the way there as Teddy Purcell working it back to Nikitin. His shot is tipped by Conley high up into the netting and out of play as we played nearly 8 minutes in this opening period. No score for Edmonton.
Scoreless here in the first.
High up into the netting for Edmonton.
Scoreless here in the first period. You're taking a look at Jonathan Drouin. And it was late this afternoon when we found out that he was going to take the place of Alex Killorn. Not time enough to get his mom and dad out to watch his first game. They'll be in Calgary tomorrow, but you can see what he did in 2 games. That goal was a game winner, a +4, so not only was he good offensively, pretty reliable in his own zone as well. And just 2 games, it's going to take him a little while to get used to the pace of the game in the National League as well. It's going to take him a little while to get used to the...
Following that was after.
10 minutes.
Nikitin, his shot is tipped by Conley high up into the netting and out of play.
Was he good offensively? Pretty reliable in his zone as well. And just 2 games, it's going to take him a little while to get used to the pace of the game in the National League as well as pro hockey. See that he really missed practically all of training camp.
You see 108 points, 46 games. His last year of junior, that was after being drafted by the Lightning and being sent back to junior following training camp. This year, first day on the ice, he suffers a knee that necessitated Drouin going to Syracuse on the conditioning assignment. He could have stayed through next weekend's games, but Steve Yzerman, Julien Brisebois and company decided he's ready after 2.
3 points in 2 games, that's pretty impressive.
Stroman was trying to get to the bench and a change. Carl needed an outlet, and so the Lightning do work that puck down the ice. Petrie, Michigan State product. Arcabello from Yale playing it back to Andrew Ferentz, the School of Hard Knocks. Pouliot through center. Dale Yakupov, one of those first overall picks with Nugent Hopkins and Hall in the Oiler lineup. Ferentz getting to the puck. JT Brown on him. And it's off Pouliot's skate. Comes to Garrison. Angles it to Kucherov. Then Scrivens leaving it for Ferentz. He's challenged in there by Nemestikov.
Usually the first 6 to 8 minutes, Rick, you know, the team really tries, at least the home team, they really try to set a fast pace, and then the teams will settle into their style of play. And it looks like right at this point, we're just about the halfway point of this first period.
Tyler Johnson avoids the hit, gets the puck out over the blue line. Joensu went down in a collision with Drouin. Here's Filppula, swings wide. Lightning finishing a change up ice. Filppula still with it. Managed to keep it in. They cycled it down low. Johnson trying to get to it. Marcinchen gets there. And it's out of the zone. Filppula has it. Well, Edmonton on the road blasted in back-to-back games against the Kings and Coyotes, giving up 13 goals, and they were pretty mad at themselves about how they've been playing. Scrivens vowed to Coach Aikens that he would win the next game. That was their most recent game against Winnipeg, or not Winnipeg, Vancouver last Friday night. He gave up 1 goal to the Sedins and then an empty netter. They played a very, very strong game there. They're looking to build on that. In front, Morrow fires, and Scrivens got a piece of that.
Yeah, that first goal of Vancouver was early in the game.
Barrett's still out there, tangling with Boyle. And Boyle using his size to protect that puck. Works with Conley. As Carl tried to move to an open area. Strawman with a shot deflected. The shot by Conley scores! Doing up there, tangling with Boyle. Barrett's still out there, tangling with Boyle. And Boyle using his size to protect that puck. Works with Conley. As Carl tried to move to an open area. Strawman with a shot deflected. The shot by Conley. Somebody in there to the boards. The puck ends up digging in.
15 minutes.
Oilers get it out to center.
1 hour 35 minutes, 56 seconds.
Bishop playing it back to Schuster. Everly in there for it. Taken now by Callahan. Rifles it ahead to Andre Palat. And the Lightning will change it up. Conley shooting the puck in the net, but they ruled it Scrivens interfered with. No penalty call, but the goal disallowed. It's fired in by Brown. Hickey behind to Schultz. Justin Schultz getting it back. He's their ice time leader at better than 24 minutes a game. Offensive-minded defenseman out of the University of Wisconsin, was drafted by the Ducks. Didn't sign with them. Better than 24 minutes a game. Offensive-minded defenseman out of the University of Wisconsin, was drafted by the Ducks. Didn't sign with them. As we have a look at that disallowed goal by the Lightning.
Boy, this is really stretching it. When you take a look at it, this is the overhead look at it, where what happened is now they're fighting for position in front of the net. And there you see it. Now you see Boyle standing right there. He's outside the crease. He hardly even touched him. Boy, that is really stretching as far as goalie interference. Boy,
It's time to Schultz.
15 minutes.
Justin Schultz getting it back. He's their ice time leader at better than 24 minutes a game. Offensive-minded defenseman out of the University of Wisconsin, was drafted by the Ducks. Didn't sign with them. As we have a look at that disallowed goal by the Lightning.
Boy, this is really stretching it. When you take a look at it, this is the overhead look at it, where what happened is now they're fighting for position in front of the net. And there you see it. Then you see Boyle standing right there. He's outside the crease. He hardly even touched him. Boy, that is really stretching as far as goalie interference. Really.
By the Lightning, a defenseman out of the University of Wisconsin, was drafted by the Ducks. Didn't sign with them. As we have a look at that disallowed goal by the Lightning.
Boy, this is really stretching it. When you take a look at it, this is the overhead look at it, where what happened is now they're fighting for position in front of the net. And there you see it. Then you see Boyle standing right there. He's outside the crease. He hardly even touched him. Boy, that is really stretching as far as goalie interference.
16 minutes.
That's why it seemed to take everybody by surprise. Goal by the
This is the overhead look at it, where what happened is now they're fighting for position in front of the net. And there you see it. Then you see Boyle standing right there. He's outside the crease. He hardly even touched him. Boy, that is really stretching as far as goalie interference.
That's why it seemed to take everybody by surprise.
It's really stretching as far as goalie interference.
16 minutes, 37 seconds. 1 hour 35 minutes, 56 seconds.
That's why it seemed to take everybody by surprise. As they keep having problems with Drouin.
16 minutes, 52 seconds.
Drouin getting it back out to Brewer.
Minutes, 56 seconds.
Down low for Johnson, trying to spin quickly off Schultz. Finish the Schultz story. He didn't sign with the Ducks and was eligible to become a free agent. It was quite the derby in terms of trying to getting his services under contract. Edmonton got him. Drouin, the pass to Brewer, looks goal out just by Johnson's stick. Taken by Draisaitl. Drouin back. Big Johansson will carry him to the boards. And we're going to get a call for holding to Johansson, and Eric Brewer objecting to him taking Drouin to the boards. whistle and a penalty called here at 12:41. And the Lightning will go to the power play when we come back.
Still scoreless. Lightning will go to the power play, but just take a look at what they're talking about, the great vision and the ability to handle the puck by Jonathan Drouin. Watch that nice little move around the winger. Now that he gets that pass over tricky to a wide open guy. That pass was deflected from Brewer to Johnson. But watch this here. You can see that his icing. He's looked up. He sees it. Nice pass. Tape to tape. There you see the deflection. And that was a great scoring attempt. Now this one here is a holding call on Johnson. So the Lightning will get the first power play of the game.
So you had a power play chance for Tampa Bay at 29.2%, 7 of 24 in the year. Fourth best in the NHL. Was eligible. Called for a hold. Taken by Draisaitl. Drew have back. Big Johnson will carry him to the board.
Down goes.
Yes, so Johansson.
Watch that nice little move around the winger. Now that he gets that pass over tricky to a wide open guy. That see the move reflected from Brewer to Johnson. Watch this. You can see there's deflected from Brewer to Johnson. But watch this. You can see that his icing. He's looked up. He sees it. Nice pass. Tape to tape. There you see the deflection. And that was a great scoring chance. Now this one here is a holding call.
Chance for Tampa Bay at 29.2%, 7 of 24 in the year. Fourth best in the NHL. Strawman, a good job to hold that play in. Stamkos in behind to Callahan, loose to the side, still contested for Palat has it. He finds Stamkos. Pass was blocked into Strawman. Stamkos has it again. Callahan down low, it gets out of his reach. Marchand there, he'll skim it down the ice. Fired ahead by Bishop, and onside to take it, it's Palat. Oilers do get their change underway. The pass behind Filppula, and Strawman still on. He backs up the play. Stamkos, 5 goals, 7 points to start the season. Ferentz backhands it out. Strawman has assists in 3 consecutive games as he starts to center. Plays it off the glass support, and Scriven's able to play it. It just snuck into the trapezoid. Stamkos waiting behind the net. Petrie trying to get position on him. Nugent Hopkins will play it off the boards and out. Edmonton 73.7% of the kill. Stamkos remained at that line, and once again Bishop found him with an excellent pass. But the Oilers spoil the plan.
It's too hard for Stamkos to hold on to it. Length of the ice by that with a lot of yesterday.
Conley ahead to Tyler Johnson. Back to Jason Garrison. He was covered, got rid of it quickly. Schultz couldn't get it out. And it reaches Brett Conley. Got away from Kucherov. He's hurried back to center ice, and it's picked up by Matt Hendricks. Hendricks swinging in, trying to cut to the middle, relieve the puck. 10 seconds to go in the Johansson penalty for holding. As Conley, who thought he had scored to open the scoring of this game, cuts to the middle. Wrench cut him off. Taylor Hall trying to grab the puck, and it gets by him to center. Edmonton back to full strength to keep this game scoreless with 5:12 to go in the first period.
Good penalty kill by the Oilers. They really didn't allow the Lightning to get in there to set up, get any kind of movement and penetration into their zone. They did a really good job of killing that penalty off.
Good hustle by Brian Boyle to beat the icing. Out comes Nugent Hopkins, room to roam. Everly cutting in, shoots. Bishop the save, and Schuster cleared the rebound. Pretty setup on the 2-on-1 by the Oilers, but Ben Bishop would not move. Hall chips it in, knocked down by Carl. Oilers dump it back in. Schuster there for it. Taylor Hall right on him. And a penalty upcoming against the Oilers. Oilers dump it back in. Schuster there for it. Taylor Hall right on him. And a penalty upcoming. 2-on-1 by the Oilers, but Ben Bishop would not move.
Next.
Hall chips it in, knocked down by Carl. Oilers dump it back in. Schuster there for it. Taylor Hall right on him. And a penalty upcoming against the Oilers. High sticking indicated. Another Lightning power play coming up in a moment. Ben Bishop doing his best here. A great save on Everly to keep it scoreless.
What could that timing there is rough.
Consistent fashion. You need goals to make it there with all those plays. Take a look at what Ben Bishop has done since last season and where he ranks as far as road wins. You see, ties the first, goals against, save percentage, as well as shutout. Now that 18 wins includes the one in Vancouver. And the Lightning last year won 21 times on the road. The fourth time in their team history that they had coached that number. Was in the winner for 17.
Hopkins starts on the power play.
Henrik Lundqvist, the other goalie with 18 wins. Henrik Lundqvist, the other goalie with 18 wins. Taylor Hall in the box for high sticking at 15:33. Second Lightning power play. They only had 2 shots on 5 power plays in Vancouver. Did not have a shot in the first one here tonight. Here's Strawman. Into Callahan, tried to center. It was blocked by Marcinkin on a sliding play. Stamkos had broken his stick, gone to the bench. And now Strawman chased back. How do the Lightning generate a few more shots here, Chief?
Well, they're going to have, the key of it is to have some patience when they get in the zone. That's the problem. They're trying to make that play a little bit too quickly. They get it all set up. Now you have it right here. Edmonton's doing a job similar to what Vancouver is. They're really getting on the puck carrier. So you got to make sure you look for that off winger or the guy that's in the back door. They'll shade over to one side as opposed to staying wide and defending the whole area.
Nugent Hopkins off to a great start in this penalty-killing unit. He's waiting for teammates off the bench, doing a good job ragging that puck. Trying to set up a shorthanded scoring chance, and Filppula gets it back for the Lightning with under a minute to go on the Taylor Hall penalty.
We saw this, as we pointed out earlier, Rick, this type of penalty kill with the Canucks. Being very, very aggressive in the offensive zone with the forecheck on the line. The team to have free access to your zone.
Drouin out there in this second unit with Johnson, Conley, Garrison, and Kucherov. Johnson chased by Nikita. Double team behind the net. Nikita gets it loose. Drouin right there to get a stick on it. Deals it back to Garrison. Firing, just missed the net. With a big bomb of a shot. And he's chased back to center. 10 seconds to go in the penalty. Kucherov enters that zone with Drouin. Patiently hangs on, goes back to Garrison. Kucherov throws it off. Johnson just deflected to the corner. The penalty's over. Drouin hanging on to that puck. Boy, he looks like he's been here a couple of years. Kucherov shooting, saved by Scrimmage. Rebound is set behind the net by Johnson. Johnson tracks down the loose puck. Could get that pass through a pair of Oilers, and out they come to center, and it will be dumped in.
Again, no shots with that man advantage. The last half of that power play was a little bit better. They got it set up in the offensive zone.
Under 2 minutes to go in a scoreless first period here at Rexall Place. Lightning in Calgary to take on the Flames, coming off a 4-2 road trip tomorrow night. And then it's on to Winnipeg and Minnesota to finish off the trip. Nugent Hopkins gets the pass. Hall with a sharp feed, Stuts in. From the corner, trying to center against Schuster. Circles, fires, and it's deflected away. Comes back to Everly. Barons across for Petrie. And Barons couldn't hold the pass, and it deflected into the Lightning bench out of deflected away. Well, fix your head, fix a step it up.
That's a shame, boy. What a great start he's having.
Shane back for it. Deflected by Hendricks, held in. Stamkos gets it on goal. A lot with a bouncing puck could only partially make contact with the puck and could get it on net. Stamkos standing guard at that line, and it's poked away by Boyd Gordon with under a minute to go in the period. Marcinkin out there with Fane. Fane will shoot it in. Alon on left wing for the Lightning. Taken over by Justin Schultz. Nikita turned back by Filppula. As reaching David Perron. Relayed now. It's Teddy Purcell on the move in that zone. Fights Ovechek, fires on net, and Bishop makes the save. A tricky low wrister by Teddy Purcell. David Perron gets it back for Edmonton. Purcell out to the point to Nikita. Schultz looks toward the net. 15 seconds to go. Here's the shot that's deflected. Reached Matt Carl. And the Lightning will skate it out with Tyler Johnson. 8 seconds to go in the period. Draisaitl took the puck away. David Perron, 6 years in a St. Louis Blues uniform.
And the period comes to an end.
It's the first period of play. The shots unofficially 6-5 favoring the Lightning. Then Bishop's a solid stop. The Lightning had a goal disallowed. It was put in the net by Brett Conley, but disallowed on goaltender interference. Jonathan Drouin making his NHL debut. He will visit with Paul and Chris in a moment. Well, they watched.
Didn't manage a shot on goal in either one.
27 minutes, 55 seconds, and 1 hour.
The Lightning opening the second period with a Stamkos line. 7 points and a +6 against Vancouver on Saturday night, looking to assert themselves offensively in this one, but it's Nugent Hopkins centering, and it's deflected off Strawman's stick, covered by Bishop and Hall. And Kevin's looking to put off Strawman's stick, covered by Bishop and Hall. And Callahan the line dislodging the net. The Holy Hog Barbecue Package scores you 2 tickets, 2 barbecue sandwiches, 2 sides, 2 sodas. For all Monday and Tuesday games, packages start as low as $75. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets. Your next home date will be a Tuesday night against the Arizona Coyotes. Puck held. The Holy Hog Barbecue Package scores you 2 tickets, 2 barbecue sandwiches, 2 sides, 2 sodas. For all Monday and Tuesday games, packages start as low as $75. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets. And the Lightning, their next home date will be a Tuesday night against the Arizona Coyotes. Puck held in by Marincin, hitting it to Jordan Eberle. Had the best scoring chance, it seemed, in that first period for Edmonton. Stopped by Bishop, set up back. Brett Conley had the goal disallowed as Brian Boyle in the goal mouth barely got tangled up with Scrivens. It was enough for the referees to disallow the goal. Out in front, Alon is knocked down, and Nugent Hopkins skates off of the puck, the 21-year-old. David Perron in that zone, feeding it back. Nugent Hopkins centers a shot. Bishop over to make a great save on Taylor Hall.
Boy, I'll tell you what, he hadn't had a lot of action, but he's had to make a couple of tremendous saves. That one there might be the best one thus far in the game, but again, good transition game by Edmonton, getting up on the offense very quickly, and a quick passing play, but Big Ben stacking those pads. I think he could cut the page of Anton Strawman's goaltending notebook to make that save. Still scoreless here early in the second.
Anton has set the gold standard for those sliding saves with that right post. Brian Boyle, 12-5 of the fifth.
Here early in the second, goaltending notebook to make that save. Still scoreless here early in the second.
Anton has set the gold standard for those sliding saves with that right post. Brian Boyle, 12-5 of the face-off circle Saturday night. Back, Nugent Hopkins centers a shot. Bishop
It's 2-1. And Leon Draisaitl is 13th going to
another turnover. Tyler Pitlick takes advantage. And it's 2 Edmonton.
And this is almost a good read by Larson.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's had a lot of action, but he's had to make a couple of tremendous saves.
Quick transition game, and sometimes simpler is better.
Again, good transition game by Edmonton, getting
pass all the way, and instead of making the pass, the quick release gets under the arm of Elliott. For Elliott, a disappointing start. This one goes right underneath. He overplayed it to the outside, and it found room underneath the elbow.
Tyler Pitlick's been a 5-year pro, and just about every time he gets close to being a regular, he's been hurt. And he's in this opening night night lineup, he gets a goal.
Goes right underneath the Elliott. For Elliott, disappointing start. This one goes right underneath. He overplayed it to the outside and found room underneath the elbow.
Tyler Pitlick's been a 5-year pro, and just about every time he gets close to being a regular, he's been hurt. And he's in this opening night lineup, he gets a goal.
Underneath, he overplayed it to the outside and it found room underneath the elbow.
Tyler Pitlick's been a 5-year pro, and just about every time
Right under arm of Elliott. For Elliott,
might be the best one thus far in the game, but again, good transition game by Edmonton, getting on the offense very quickly. And a quick passing play, but Big Ben stacking those pads. I think he could cut the page of Antoine Stroman's goal to the notebook to make that save. Bill Scorless here early in the second.
Anton has set the gold standard for those sliding saves with that right post.
Make that save. Bill Scorless here early in the second.
Anton has set the gold standard for those sliding saves with that right post. Ryan Boyle, 12 and 5. Tonight could set the goal in those pads.
Again, good transition game by Edmonton, getting on the offense very quickly. And a quick passing play, but Big Ben stacking those pads. I think he could cut the page of Antoine Stroman's goal to the notebook to make that save. Bill Scorless here early in the second.
Anton is set
stacking those pads. But he's had to make a couple of tremendous saves. That one there might be the best one thus far in the game, but again, good transition game by Edmonton, getting them on the offense very. Well, I'll tell you what, he's had a lot of positions, but he's had to make
that could be because he signed the win of the net first. You're right. But if you watch this 3-2 Buffalo, or is it 4-2 Buffalo? A lot of talking going on. They're having difficulty with this one. They're wrestling with it.
Be the best one.
ever for the
NHL.
go get an appearance. No goal.
That's far in the game, but again, good practice. I'll tell you what, he's hasn't had a lot of action, but he's had to make a couple.
In Toronto, obviously,
0%
to make this decision, which has now been made.
The play was under review to see if there was a high.
That can eliminate that would be goaltender interference call against Buffalo. Take a look. This is going to be the overhead view. There's Talbot. There's Brian Gianta. He's not in the crease. Talbot comes across and he just sort of looks like he extends his right arm that has the stick in it, tries to push Brian Gianta away a little bit. There's no contact there.
Make that save.
By Brian Gianta and Talbot. No, and Gianta did not move. Talbot was going in that direction.
That right post.
Ryan Boyle, they're going to lose.
12 and 5 in the face-off circle Saturday night, controlling this one. Back for Jason Garrison. He'll slide it through center, looking for Conley, matched up with Nikita. They meet once again on the corner.
No contact whatsoever right there. Other than the contact, Talbot puts his right arm with his stick and touches the back of Brian Gianta.
12 and 5 in the face-off circle Saturday night, controlling this one.
NHL
To make that save.
Now the goal, the game, and third out is knocked down. Taylor Hall, that's what surprised everyone, mostly Vince Ribbons. Ended back around the 5, the first face-off circle Saturday night, controlling this one. Back for Jason Garrison. He'll slide it through center, looking for Conley, matched up with Nikita. They meet once again on the corner. Brendan Morrow storming in there. Boyle has control of the puck. Out to Garrison. He'll send it back around the boards again for Brendan Morrow. Only his 44th career game against the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, playing most of his career in Dallas in the Western Conference. Puck is back inside the score. They score! Brian Boyle. Boyle has control of the puck. Out to Garrison. He'll send it back around the boards again for Brendan Morrow. Only his 44th career game against the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, playing most of his career in Dallas in the Western Conference. Puck is back inside the score. They score! Garrison They'll send it back around the boards again for came off the
7.
that physical challenge Andrew Ferris for the puck and win it. Hendricks gets it back. Brewer takes it. Ball and Shane Heyer agrees. He blows that 1-0 lead. Bishop trying to help out the Lightning, or the linesman, I should say, in the icing call, and Shane Heyer agrees. He blows the whistle.
It seems like with both these teams, at least in the first period, that when they've started the game, the play again, or resuming play, in the offensive zone, they've been able to maintain it, winning the draw and maintaining pressure inside that zone. See if it happens here again.
Mestikov, Kucherov, and Brown on. Pinching in Matt Carl. Barrett's getting to it. It's checked by Mestikov. Carl comes by for it. Mestikov. His first point, his first goal. The same game against Montreal last Monday night. Here's Carl playing it. Kucherov shooting, kicked out by Scrivens. Strawman with it. Feeds it back down the boards. Looking for J.T. Brown. He's wrapped up in the corner. Kucherov firing from a bad angle. Why not try it again from the other side?
Well, you know, the way people jam the front of the net and the defensive team defends the front of the net, you might as well just try and shoot it from odd angles. You get that crazy hot.
The Bud Light Up for Whatever package scores you 2 tickets, 2 Lightning Girls swimsuit calendars, and 4 Bud Lights for all Wednesday and Thursday games. Cheap, starting as low as $75. Buy now at TampaBayLightning.com/tickets. They've thought of everything. Every night there's a home game. There's something special going on. Callahan from that face-off circle. Garrison shoots, and it's handled by Scrivens.
He was pretty sharp. You recall, Rick, he won a game with L.A. against the Lightning. As we pointed out earlier, before the game actually started, Ben Scrivens has only played 4 career games against the Lightning, has a 2-1 record, 873 save percentage, and a 308 average. So,
yeah, they saw him in an L.A. uniform twice. Lightning beat the Kings.
Lightning, as we pointed out earlier, before the game actually started, Ben Scrivens has only played 4 career games against the Lightning, has a 2-1 record, 873 save percentage, and a 308 average. So,
yeah, they saw him in an L.A. uniform twice. And it's handled by Scrivens. Early Scrivens came in relief at Amalie Arena. King at Scrivens came in relief at Amalie Arena, and then the matchup in LA, 5-2. Scrivens beat the Lightning. Here's Nugent Hopkins. In January, he was traded to the Edmonton Oilers. Fane kept it on the line. His wrist shot is blocked by Palat. Feeding it out for Garrison. Callahan gets to it, sweeps it in. Marincin lost it. Stamkos quickly trying to center, and Hall arrived on the scene to take over. He overskates the puck. Stamkos with it. In open ice. Shoots. Saved by Scrivens. Marincin checked by Stamkos. Lightning with some good work in the attacking zone. Brewer trying to keep it down low again. Fane looks for an outlet. Marincin fires it out of the reach of Eberle. Filppula has it for the Lightning as we near the 4-minute mark of the second period. Johnson, Drouin with it. Fires off Johnson's stick, looking for the tip. And it just went wide. Mark Barberio trying to play it down the boards. He's chased to center by Taylor Hall. Arcabello involved there as well for the Oilers. And Drouin taking over. Good pass to Johnson. Cutting into the backhand. And he just sends it wide past the arm of Scrivens. Well, Jonathan Drouin, he is certainly up to speed with what we've seen at the NHL level tonight, Chief.
Boy, I'll tell you what, and his vision, I know everybody was talking about it, about how great vision he has on that ice. You can sure see it.
El Yakupov held off on that shot. Here's a shot, they score!
Talking about it, about how great vision he has on that ice. You can sure see it.
El Yakupov held off on that shot. Here's a shot, they score! He is certainly up to speed with what we... Cutting into the backhand. And he just sends it by Taylor Hall. Arcabello involved there as well for the Oilers. And Durant taking over. Good pass to Johnson. Cutting into the backhand. And he just sends it wide. Past the arm of Scrimmage. Jonathan Drouin, he is certainly up to speed with what we've seen at the NHL level tonight.
Boy, I'll tell you what, and his vision, I know everybody was talking about it, about how great vision he has on that ice. And you can sure see it.
El Yakupov held off on that shot.
He also makes 14. And it's 2-1 Oilers.
Another turnover. Tyler Pickett takes advantage. This is almost a bad read by Larson. He gets caught flat-footed. Allows his man to go through the point play by Russell, breaking it up. Quick transition. Efficient game and
There was a tremendous shot. This seems like ebbs and flows of the game, and it just seems like no matter whenever you can keep some pressure on in the offensive zone, both teams have done it on stretches. That one there was a tremendous shot. Far side, it was a little bit flat to net, but you see how the way is it's going to parallel to the goal line. It goes up that far side out, and that's where Schultz put it. It was a tremendous shot. That's over that shoulder. And Schultz gets his first of the year to tie this up. And that's where Schultz put it. It was a tremendous shot over that shoulder. And Schultz gets his first of the year to tie this hockey game at
As we mentioned, a lot of teams were after his services as he became a free agent. And his first year in the NHL, Chief, it is quite an accomplishment for him. First year in the NHL, Chief, it is quite an accomplishment for him. That was in the lockout year, 12-13. We'll talk more about that in a moment. He's got the puck right now.
He was missing the net, hit him in the shaft to bring in, and this game's tied.
At lockout year, of course, he started in Oklahoma City. The American League was so dominant that when the NHL season started, he was with the Oilers, finished the year with Edmonton, but he was named the top defenseman in the AHL. As Scrimmage keeps that puck away from the net. Got the Eddie Shore plaque, which Mark Barberio has won in his career. And he was also named to the NHL All-Rookie team. How do you do that?
Well, he sure made an impression on everybody in those few games that he did to play.
Bouncing puck, eludes Schuster. Getting Purcell right on him. It's tipped back to center. J.T. Brown racing ahead. 3 Oilers back. Nemestikov looking for Kucherov. He'll take it off the boards. Backhands it in front. Brown tried to shovel it home. That deflected off Nikitin, and he might have gotten hit with that puck or a stick in the face as he comes to the Edmonton bench. Barberio at the other end, working with his partner Brewer. Kucherov meanders to center and shoots it in. Marincin, lanky defenseman, lead pass off the stick of Joensuu. Palat controlling it for the Lightning. He's hooked down. No call as Callahan leaving it for Palat. Hendricks takes it back. Hendricks chips it ahead. Joensuu, a big package down those boards, overskates the puck. Carl quickly gets rid of it. And Stamkos moving it out by the stick of Callahan.
A little bit more pace to the game here in this second period, excuse me.
Joensuu sends it in off Hendricks' stick. He came from Nashville for Devin Dubnyk. Their goaltender Was in the organization for quite a while, a first-rounder from 2004. Now he's in Phoenix with the Arizona Coyotes. The Lightning know him from the years in the Southeast Division. He's a member of the Washington Capitals. Nugent Hopkins playing it back of the point. Here's Hall with a shot, and Carl got a piece of that. And it's a good thing he did for that big one-timer from the circle by Taylor Hall. Boyle scoring for the Lightning. Is tied on the goal by shoulder by Dwayne Rolison.
Now we're taking a look at an old friend, Teddy Purcell. You see that time and score in the second period. 310 games with the Lightning uniform, picking up the 67 goals, 10 of which were game winners. He had 4 of them last year, matter of fact, for the Lightning.
He's seen an old friend of his, an old teammate, Brian Boyle. They were together in Manchester, the American League, and the Kings organization. Scored first in this contest. Tyler Johnson working in the corner. Garrison operating in there. It comes back to Perron with the wrist shot. He skims it wide. Petrie couldn't get a hold of it. Jonathan Drouin does. He races to center as Johnson and Filppula with him. Drouin making the play. It's tipped. Garrison back to Filppula. He's dumped by Petrie. He lifts the puck to center ice. Booster one-hands it away as a spinning puck didn't come to him as expected. Perron dazzling stick handling moves there, and Jonathan Drouin took it away from him. The 19-year-old leading it. Johnson with it, shoots it. Glove by Scrivens. He'll hang on.
I think that's what they have to do more of right now.
Expected. The 19-year-old leading it. Johnson with it, shoots it. Glove by Scrivens. He'll hang on.
I think that's what they have to do more of right now. They've had 11 shots on goal tonight, but instead of making that one extra pass, take some shots from around that top of the circle. A good time now to wish a belated birthday to Eric Ehrlich's father. Eric, of course, the longtime beat writer of the Tampa Tribune. His dad turned 75 on Saturday. So happy birthday, even though it is a couple days later.
And he follows the Lightning on a regular basis. Now he's tuned in. Here's Schultz racing in against Eric Brewer. Getting it off to Yakupov out in front. Here's a try by Arcabello, and it was blocked. Schultz back 4. Arcabello with a one-touch. Getting it over for Benoit Pouliot. One of the stars of the New York Ranger run to the Stanley Cup Final. Seems like everywhere we go, we're running into players who are part of that. But the Rangers trying to get things righted with a lot of new faces in their lineup and doing a pretty good job of it. The Lightning happy to have Boyle and Strowman joining them, as well as Ryan Callahan back at the trade deadline. Strowman back to the puck. Penalty upcoming here as Steve Kazari, Boyle and Strowman is in their lineup. The goals, and they've done it pretty much by winning faceoffs, but as Stallman got spilled in the circle there, the Oilers end up with it. And Schultz back 4.
Well, to see if the Lightning are as effective at killing this penalty as Edmonton was at killing the first 2 power play chances the Lightning had in that first period.
Nugent Hopkins with a burst over for Eberle, and it was just tipped by Brewer. As Eberle went sliding into the board, Schultz winding, faking the shot. Nugent Hopkins has been a threat on both special teams so far for Edmonton tonight. Here's Schultz with a shot, and it's handled by Bishop. He'll hang on to it, but 1:15 to go in the Conley penalty.
Well, the first shot with a man advantage goes to Edmonton. And he's talking to Kazari, and I think what he's talking about is that goal that went in and said it hit him on the stick and went in.
And the Oilers with Draisaitl to take the face-off. Purcell's in the shooting position if he wins.
What he's talking about is that goal that went in and said it hit him on the stick and went in.
Wood is just good and strong base up. Circle again tonight. Wins this one. Garrison couldn't get it out. Schuster couldn't get it out. And Purcell hands it off to David Perron. Lightning had possession. Good movement. Here's a shot by Nikitin. And it's just missed the net, deflected away and behind. Perron could get a stick on it. Chopped by Brown. Schuster has it. And he'll bounce it back down the ice with 50 seconds to go in the Oiler power play.
I think that shot even grazed the post with kind of fooled Bishop. And I think he thought it was going to come with that kind of velocity on it.
Perron. Handing it now to Nikitin. Yakupov playing it back around. And Perron now down low. They find Nikitin shooting, and he fires it over the net off the glass. Purcell recovers it. Yakupov with a quick shot. Garrison blocked it. And Filppula protecting that puck. Got it free. Joined by Callahan. And they bust it out. Callahan looking for Filppula, and it was just tipped away on the back check by Teddy Purcell. 5 seconds to go in the penalty.
We've seen Teddy Purcell do that a couple of times with the Lightning on the power play. Get back and make really good defensive play.
Puck deflects into the Lightning zone. Carl therefore, he's taken heavily into the boards by Matt Hendricks, who had a big hit on Strawman in the first period. Bain. Now with Palat handling it. Conley came out of the box and stayed on with Stamkos and Palat, as Callahan had just been out there killing the penalty. Bain throws it behind the net. Marincin angles it. And it's tapped ahead to Hendricks. Boyd Gordon into that zone. Back to Hendricks. Big drive and a save off the blocker by Bishop. Gordon got dumped side of the goal. Bain trying to hold it in for Edmonton. Joensuu chased to center. Stamkos trying to get organized for the rush. The Oilers had a head start. And they strip him of the puck. Hendricks backhands it in. Wholesale change by Edmonton out at center ice. Brewer moving it ahead. Relayed now to Kucherov. Trying to turn the corner. Fires, and he just sends it wide on the short side. And the big carom off the glass. The race is on. Barberio with great wheels. Got there ahead of Taylor Hall. Nemesnikov. Bouncing pass at the line. Brown trying to get a hold of it. Knocked down. Kucherov holds it in for the Lightning. He nearly walked away with it. Hall has it. Hall swings in. Brewer follows him. Here's the pass to Petrie. Shooting Bishop, a save with his left leg pad. Brewer chips it out safely.
Well, you got to get a little bit more aggressive on that puck carrier in your own zone. They give them time and space to come, and they're going to make the plays.
Brendan Morrow, a big hit in there. Conley following up. Nemesnikov working between those two at this point. It's sent down the ice, icing the call against the Oilers. There in the grip, one left. They pull out that face-off off the timeout. Everly checked by Andre Palat. It comes back to Ferentz. Taylor Hall, first overall pick in 2010, lobs it over the head of Garrison. Oilers change it up as Conley makes his way through center. And a step around Marincin. Play backed up by Palat. Stamkos closing in, trying to center. It's off a stick. Controlled now by Yakupov. Conley ended up in the net with Scrivens. And he's heading back up ice. Oilers trying to get set up. The shot blocked by Schuster. It's a good thing he did, because the Lightning had a couple of guys trapped down ice and were late getting back in the zone. Bain racing for that rolling puck. We get the icing called against the Lightning now. It's 6:21 to go in a second.
Well, let's take a look at the upcoming Lightning schedule presented by Steak and Shake. And the Lightning right after tonight will head to Calgary for a game against the Flames. And Johnny Gaudreau, our first look at him, or Johnny Hockey as they're calling him now. Blake Wheeler and the Jets on Friday, and then to the Minnesota Wild, who's made a number of changes. Thomas Vanek probably heading that one, and then the Lightning will be back home, get in to Tampa around 3 o'clock in the morning Sunday, and then have Ford home.
The key.
Lightning right out from the morning.
And Bishop, the stop, hangs on for the whistle. We're tied at 1 as Boyle and Schultz have traded goals here in the second period.
We're tied at 1 as you see the time remaining here in the second period. And so much talked about the youngest age as far as their active rosters. You can see there, Columbus, the youngest, with Buffalo, Edmonton in third place, and the Lightning down in seventh. If you take a poll of just the forwards, the Lightning have the youngest average age in the forward line than anybody. And Edmonton's like fourth in that category.
Either way you look at it, a lot of young talent on the ice here tonight. Barrett's one of the oldsters driving one over the net. He'll get another chance here. He'll crank one into a crowd, knocked down by Bishop. Makes a stop there and hangs on to it. A little slow in getting up. David Perron stopped in that rebound. He was right in the kitchen of Ben Bishop.
Edmonton's just starting to take the puck. He's working a little bit hard. That shot came right off the top of his mask as it came from the point. It was deflected, and he was able to find it quickly and then make that save off of Perron. Puck retrieval for Edmonton as this part's deflected, and he was able to find it quickly and then make that save off of Perron. Puck retrieval for Edmonton at this part of the second period is very, very good.
Boyle and Arcabello get the sticks up on that faceoff. Lightning get control, and Brendan Morrow handing it to Brian Boyle, scoring his first Lightning goal in his second period. Scrivens out to lead. The puck for Schultz, and he was pursued by Conley. Strong forecheck from this Lightning line. It's been the story in the second period, Chief, of this group.
Yeah, they did the job in Vancouver as well. They really got in there quickly. They really maintained possession in the offensive zone for long stretches of time.
And then Morrow 5 hits in that win over the Canucks.
Hey, what? This ice doesn't look that great here either as it was in Vancouver.
Now again, Morrow coming in for a collision there with Nikita Nikitin as the whistle blew for the offside. 5:15 to go in the second period. The shot's now 14-11 favoring Edmonton with the score tied at 1. And when we're tied, you see all the retired numbers in the great history of the Edmonton Oilers. Tonight's great moment in hockey history brought to you by Geico. On this day in 1993, Wayne Gretzky skates against his younger brother Brent for the first time as the Lightning. Brent skating for the Bolts, playing host to the LA Kings at the Thunderdome, now Tropicana Field. Lots changed since then.
Yeah, I remember that day very vividly. It was quite the moment. Of course, younger brother. Quite the moment. Of course, quite the moment. Of course,
on for the Oilers.
younger brother.
They need to see Johnson. Is a brand new 31-year-old Brian Elliott is the starter. He's backed up by Chad Johnson. Cam Talbot got better as the season went on for the Oilers, but they need him to be good right off the hop early in the season this time round. Referees tonight are Brian Pochmera and Kyle Raymond. Darren Gibbs and Mark Wheeler are the linesmen, and we're ready for hockey for the first time in Rogers Place.
As he would, Stamkos cranking one off the right shoulder of Scrivens as he was set up in the face-off circle, and the other end, Taylor Hall shooting, saved by Bishop. And what do we got here? A penalty shot to Taylor Hall as from behind. Here, up there and take the
Younger brother Brent was pretty nervous about that.
Stamkos cranking one off the right shoulder of Scrivens as he was set up in the face-off circle, to the other end, Taylor Hall shooting, saved by Bishop. And what do we got here? A penalty shot to Taylor Hall as Matt Carl is trying to stop him from behind.
They've been doing this all night long, just lifting that shot up there, hoping that you can get that guy loose, and when you see it, and there's the hook. Actually was thinking that Carl was probably going to put a little bit more strength into that and let it go. That's how he fell.
Here comes Hall on the penalty shot. Fakes, scores! Playing host for the first day in 1993, Wayne Gretzky skates against his younger brother Brent. For the first time as the
for the Calgary Flames coming up to this new building, the excitement of having Johnny Gaudreau back in the lineup with the new deal is going to give them energy. And we saw Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky skating around the rink, and I think the natural passing of the torch is the new captain, Connor McDavid. No question who the star is here, and what an opportunity to build his own legacy in this amazing new building.
Lots of new things tonight. First game for Matthew Tkachuk, who's on the ice. Another of the East. Platform decides the team. He lets his partner Adam Larson go back for the puck. Stretch pass. Captain of the Flames, Mark Giordano, with a long pass to Monahan. He tips the puck. The Oscar platform decides to change. He lets his partner Adam Larson go back for the puck. Stretch pass to center. Slepyshev couldn't knock it down. The puck pounced on him, and there's an icing call against Edmonton.
Well, you mentioned all the emotion, and
now drop a can of against his off the other end. This makes a very Stamkos fires and scored in all. The Oilers with 4.5 to play in the second period. Nemesnikov centered on Scriven's stick. Garrison holds it in. Hendricks over 4. Shifted to the line, forced to center. Lightning get it back. Jason Garrison. Looked it in behind the keep. Ray Schuster. Lead pass for Brown. And open up a little room for Kucherov. Fires in front and deflected to the stick of Scrivens. Here's another try in front. Kucherov with a shot. It's blocked by Nikitin as he couldn't get much on the backhand. Joensuu tips it down the ice. Draisaitl racing Brewer. And it's Valtteri Filppula handing it down to Barberio, racing into the zone. Coming back, David Perron. Drouin with it. Gets it back to Brewer. Lines, fires, saved by Scrivens. Petrie off the glass, skipped away from Brewer. Here comes a 3-on-2. Perron swinging and shooting save. Rebound. Rebound by Bishop there on Teddy. Perron. Now buzzing off that rush. Here's Filppula. Drouin goes to the net. Barberio late. Fights off a check. Johnson throws it to the goal mouth. Filppula. And a turn away from David Perron does. Perron worked it free. Draisaitl sliding it ahead to Purcell. Purcell carries it in, reaching back for it, still with it. Hands it now to Yakupov. And out of the reach of Leon Draisaitl as he cut to the net.
Connor McDavid.
And the Drouin. Quite a session there with Yakupov. He only goes 186 pounds. He looked a little bit bigger than that, Chief, on that one-on-one. Conley knocked it away.
Yakupov grabbed a hold of him on the arm to help slow him down.
McKee playing it to Benoit Pouliot. Lightning get it back. Conley ripped up by a pair of Oilers at center, and the Lightning will try to formulate another rush. Barberio's been active here in the last couple of shifts. McKee runs into Boyle and Morrow in that corner. Conley comes up with a puck. And he's got a wide open man. Stroman shoots a shoulder save by Scrivens. Down went the referee as the puck is cleared out to center.
Look at that puck. We talked about how bad the ice was in Vancouver, how bad the puck was bouncing around. It's not much better here.
Players had said this morning there were some ruts in the ice. That's just about where Alex Killorn wiped out at the skate this morning and behind that net at the other end. Weren't day-to-day with an upper body injury. Keep in mind, he's been rock solid. He played all 82 games last year. But missing this one. And Jonathan Drouin was not expected to play in the game. Plans changed late in the afternoon as John Cooper decided he had to go in the lineup and Killorn wasn't going to be able to go. Marincin surrenders the puck to Andre Palat. He's got Stamkos barging his way in front. Drouin remains out there. There's a shot by Garrison, and it's snared by Scrivens. He'll hang on.
Well, I'm going to get a little bit more activity in that offensive zone. Here's a good opportunity for Stallman just coming by, and Scrivens just out on that angle. Made the right pad save. But Edmonton, we saw Montreal do it all through the playoffs. when they're getting the puck, they're lifting that high arcing shot and letting the speedy forwards run under it. Skate under it, I should say. And they've been getting it out of trouble that way a lot. That's what resulted in that big goal right now with that penalty shot.
Yoan Su, the Finnish-born winger, trailed his line mate Gordon in the zone offside. Stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda Dealers second intermission report. Brian Boyle will talk with Paul and Chris from outside the Lightning locker room. Feature on the great second-year players on the Lightning roster. Boy, there are plenty of them. Highlights and stats also coming your way. Schuster fires off the stick of J.T. Brown with under a minute to go in the second. Kucherov and Nemestikov speed in there to challenge the Edmonton defense. Harrison settles the puck down. It's played down to Brown. He's knocked to the ice on the hit by Hendricks. Far and away the most physical player in this hockey game. Now it's Brown and Hendricks behind the play. Looks like they're both going to get penalties. And Dave Jackson will send them off with 39.2 seconds to go in the second period.
Most likely roughing. 19:20 will be the exact time of these penalties for the team to finish this period.
Most likely 4-on-4. As you mentioned, Chief, the pace has picked up in the second period on the part of both teams. And open ice to end this period. A fresh sheet to start the third. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Carl having a word with Steve Kazari, probably about that play that resulted in the penalty shot. All with a goal that has given Edmonton a 2-1 lead. Anton Stroman starts it ahead. 400th game in his career. 7th round pick by the Maple Leafs back in 2005. And as he told Chief on Lightning Live pregame, remembers that first game playing for the Leafs against the Atlanta Thrashers back in 2007 as Scrivens covered the puck here. 15.6 seconds to play.
You know, a guy that I get amazed the way all the stuff he gets away with is that Ferris. He's 4'3", and he just took Johnson was standing right there. He came in there and just drilled him against the bar. Nobody ever answers back to him.
And a penalty shot goal will count.
Nobody ever, he just took Johnson was standing right there. He came in there and just drilled him against the bar. Nobody ever answers back to him.
And a penalty shot goal will count. I hope it counts as an even strength goal, but it's
4'3", and he just took Johnson was standing right there. He came in there and just drilled him against the bar. Nobody ever answers back to him.
And a penalty shot goal will count. I hope it counts as an even strength goal, but at least the goal by Schultz. Only there's
In the second intermission, they're not going to be very happy about the one that wasn't called.
Brian Boyle got the Lightning on the board at 1:22. And then Justin Schultz tying it. Taylor Hall's fourth goal of the season on the penalty shot at 14:57, giving Edmonton a lead of 2-1. They get a shot advantage of 16-15. View of downtown Edmonton, Alberta. Balmy Edmonton, Alberta, Chief. It's been in the 60s Fahrenheit. And it's great to be here this time of year. Brian Boyle would like to make it memorable in his third period. The Lightning down a goal.
I think they have to get much more active, as he pointed out in that interview with Paul and Chris, that they've got to start making more simpler plays and getting more shots on the net. When we looked at the stats, Lightning only had 14 shots towards the net, including missed shots and block shots, and Edmonton had 24. So you can see much more active in the offensive zone, the Oilers, and consequently they're up 2-1.
Here's our chase review. You see the shots that were on the net. The Oilers have a one-shot advantage, and either team has scored with a man advantage. An edge for the Lightning in the face-off circle. Stamkos and Boyle doing a good job.
See, they out-hit the Lightning right now. They're more engaged, or were in that period. We'll see. The Lightning can step it up a bit here in the third.
Lightning at 20 hits, out-hitting the Canucks 20-11 on Saturday night. But as you saw there, out-hit to this point. 1:20 to go in the minor penalties for roughing. The J.T. Brown and Matt Hendricks open ice and a fresh sheet of ice to start this third period. Lightning have Stamkos and Palat in front of Carl and Strawman. And Palat takes over the puck. Getting it to Stamkos, checked by Taylor Hall, who has a goal and an assist in this game. Marincin turns the net. Chased back by Stamkos. Now it counters Palat. Leaving it in the corner, Nugent Hopkins trying to get to it. And Stamkos there to cut him off. Marincin looking for Jordan Eberle. 28 goals last year on the season. To help lead the Oilers in that department, Jeff Petrie off the Edmonton bench. Chased now by Nikita Kucherov. Carl sees he's got Pouliot bearing down on him. Strawman throws it across for Kucherov. 23 seconds to go in the penalties. Little bounce one in on Scrivens. Kucherov gets it again now, and Scrivens tangled up in the net.
Fans took him into the net. That's the thing, pushing from behind.
Tonight's broadcast code of the game is puck. Simply go to lightningfanrewards.com and enter the code in our game day challenge section. Register now to start playing. 18 seconds to go in this 4-on-4 situation. They're going to bring the draw out to center. Chief, we were looking at the stats through 2 periods. Jonathan Drouin in his NHL debut looking at the stats through 2 periods. Jonathan Drouin in his NHL debut playing a little over 10 minutes so far. He's played more than 6 other forwards for the Lightning. So obviously the coach is happy with what they're seeing from him.
Exactly. It'll just increase as he gets more and more comfortable.
Arcabello, he'll chip it in. It's gloved away by Garrison. In the Lightning zone, they can take over on it now as the team's at full strength with Hendricks and Brown rejoining the action out of the box. Brown with some pressure along with Kucherov. Hendricks has it. And the Keaton had it broken up. Here's Nemesnikov shooting. A glove save by Scrivens.
Oh, big save. And finally they take that shot. And a good forecheck on the part of Brown and Kucherov to take this puck. They're on half of him. He came out there. But watch Scrivens get right out there at the top of the crease, making sure that he has his glove hand above the pad. And that's where the shot ended up. Nice save by the Edmonton goal.
Scrivens in the Toronto organization played considerably in the AHL for Dallas.
The shot ended up. Nice save by the Edmonton goal.
Scrivens in the Toronto organization played considerably in the AHL for Dallas Aikens with the Toronto Marlies and against John Cooper's Norfolk Admirals. A couple of years ago, Barberio fires and he sends it wide. Rebound comes out to Filppula. Here's a shot by Brewer, deflected. It's on goal, and the wraparound. Scrivens there to stop Drouin. As Johnson got the deflection, it looked like, and Drouin tried to finish it off, but Scrivens acrobatically got over there to make the save. Lightning generating chances now early in this third period. They scored early in the second to open the scoring. Drouin skating over for the puck, leading it for Carl, takes the shot, and Scrivens kept it wide. Strawman battling Perron as they collide near the boards. Barents dumping it back for Petrie. They lob it up the boards, fielded by Carl. Strawman playing the lion's share as you would expect on defense for the Lightning. Here's Conley entering the zone, shooting, and it's tipped out of play by Petrie. But the other 5D, their ice time through 2 periods, all within about 3 minutes of each other, trying to make up for the loss of Edmonton.
Here's another chance. You see it was deflected by Tyler Johnson, and very quick hands and quick feet by Jonathan Drouin was able to try and get that wraparound. But Scrivens is that tall goaltender. He gets those long legs so that pulls quickly.
Arcabello wins the faceoff. Now as Yakupov playing it back to the corner. Here comes that line again. Conley, Boyle, and Morrow getting things stirred up in the zone as Arcobello couldn't get away from Morrow. Morrow reaching back for the puck. It's by the stick of Pouliot. He's spun around by Boyle. Right into center. Arcobello out of Yale. Undrafted. With 3 years in the minors for the Oilers. Finally made the team last year and made his mark offensively with this club. It's dumped back into the Lightning zone and Carl getting to it. Lightning have come out with the only 3 shots on net here in the third period. And Scrivens has had to be good on every one of them. Here's Stamkos trying to center. Marincin blocked the pass and it had to be swept away by Scrivens. Taylor Hall barely got it away from Stamkos. Everly slides it in. Bishop will play it, and he'll cover it with Nugent Hopkins approaching.
To the net with their net presence against New Jersey.
Joensuu trying to protect that puck in the corner. It came free. The Lightning gained control. Kucherov ahead for J.T. Brown. Nice cut to the middle, but he lost the handle. Marincin and the Oiler defense. Played ahead to the hard-charging Hendricks. He'll send it wide of Bishop. Gordon over for it. Hendricks comes by. Checked by Nemestikov. Joensuu couldn't pick it up, but Brown does. Booster had a stick broken. He goes to the bench with Barberio coming on for him. Nemestikov bumping into Boyd Gordon. As Barberio turns the net. Pass ahead to Tyler Johnson. Room to step in. Fires. Saved by Scrivens. Barons bodies off Johnson, who still wins the puck, but Draisaitl stole the pass. Petrie smoothly to center for Edmonton. Bishop stays put. Draisaitl over for it. Handing it off. It's it back from Perron, and now Perron trying to make a move. Brewer takes it away. Draisaitl looking to center, does. David Perron shooting, and it's deflected by Barberio behind the net. Brewer came to the Oilers in a deal from the Islanders for Roman Hamilton back in 2000. Went to the Blues with Chris Pronger coming to Edmonton in 2005. And the Oilers possessing that puck. Here's a shot by Perron. Missed the net by a healthy margin. Nemestikov gets control. He'll dump it back to center. Draisaitl dilly-dallied with the puck, and Drew has stolen it. He fires. It's smothered at the defense. Barons with a big block there. Oilers dump it in as Bishop playing it, sliding it to Matt Carl. Arcobello takes it. And Bishop out to handle it. He couldn't slide it past the on-charging Oiler forward. That was Yakupov, first-round pick, first overall in 2012. Johnson plays it out. Play just over 6 minutes here in the third. Nugent Hopkins in for Jordan Eberle. Back to Nugent Hopkins. Settles it down. Couldn't get it on goal. And it's tapped wide by Eberle.
Boy, the puck rolled on them, too. It was well conceived. They made 2 very quick passes in short. But they couldn't handle the rolling puck.
Conley centers out of the reach of Boyle. And back comes Taylor Hall and the Oilers. Hall trying to turn on Garrison. Centers and Boyle right in position. He knew where to be. That play had to come right to the slot. He was ready for it. The pass to him. Boyle in the backhand. It's tipped away by Schultz. All curling back to take it.
Well, I think the line with Boyle, Conley, and Morrow has been the most effective line for the Lightning.
Schuster. The center trying to slip one through. Gets it in deep in the zone. Schultz there. Working with Fane for the moment. Joensuu. That pass to Hendricks, batted away by Brewer. Palat bounces off a check. Palat has it again, sidesteps one check and cleared the zone. Driven back in wide of Bishop. Palat. A challenge by Gordon. Lightning worked the puck free. Brewer checks his options. Palat had curled back in deep. Back for Brewer. He'll slide it slowly into the zone, avoiding icing. Fane getting to it and deflected off the referee. Kazari and covered by Scrivens. 12-12 to go here in the third. Lightning still trail by a goal.
Scoring time here in the third. Let's take a look at tonight's high-def highlight brought to you by H.H. Craig. And we talk about just getting the puck on net. This is back in the second period. Brian Bull just gets the puck and looks. He said he was trying to either hit Conley with a backdoor pass or to hit the Edmonton defenseman on his skate and ricochet pass. And very surprised. Ken Scrivens for the Lightning's only goal and Brian's first goal as a Lightning at 1:22 of that second period. That's a H.H. Craig high-def highlight.
Paul and Chris pointed out that Boyle had a goal that was involved in a goal that didn't count. Here's a shot. And a stop down in front. Palat with a try. That's smothered by Scrivens.
I think that hit the defenseman who was behind.
Yes.
Scrivens.
We're just going to point out that the puck went off Schultz and he later scored. Here's Mauricio who's caught in the net.
Lightning player. Or they're that close to the middle of the net. No, it did. It hit Filppula in the back of the leg. Oh, wow. Talk about getting the bounces right now. That looked like it was a tie game for Lightning.
And an added block by Nugent Hopkins. Palat out of the corner. Back to Schuster. He'll throw it to the open side. Fane will get it away from Stamkos initially. Now they do slide it out to center. Jason Garrison. He has scored well against Edmonton in his career. 8 points, 11 games against the Oilers. Stamkos continues on. With a couple of goals in the one game against Edmonton last year he played it. That was at the Amalie Arena. He was injured when the team was here in January. Bishop has stopped there and that long shot by Ferentz. Filppula getting it ahead for Jonathan Drouin, the magical stick handler that he is. We're finding out here in his first game of the NHL. Sets up Stroman, shooting deflected. It's sent in wide by Carl from the side of the net. Johnson trying to get it, and does in time to hold it in for Drouin. Johnson getting it now. They're Conley trying to get it free in front, take it over by Perron. And held in by Carl. His shot is blocked by Petrie, taken over by Jonathan Drouin. Worked free by Perron. Drouin's been everywhere.
Well, he really hits out of that puck. It's an excellent shift for that line because now he's kept that Edmonton line out there for extra time, and they've already used their timeout.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Tampa Bay Lightning is prohibited. Ryan Callahan not in action here in this third period for the Lightning, and he's not on the bench. We'll pass along word on that when we get it. As to what his status is. Barbarian with a pass to Brown, poked away at the line. Worked free by Brown. Mestikov trying to walk in front, good down against the sturdy Nikita Nikitin. However, there's going to be a penalty to the Lightning.
The first period.
Down the horn, Hall shooting, saved by Bishop. Taylor Hall has really been firing. Going to get his team in the win column for the first time this year. They start the year 0-4-1. Everly settles it down, fires it back for Taylor Hall.
It's the poorest start in the history of this team. Winless in 5.
Everly back to Schultz with the shot, deflected off. Pouliot in front, and it bounced wide of the Lightning net. Tampa Bay getting a hold of it and clearing with 1:18 to go on the penalty to Nemestikov. Andre Palat, Tyler Johnson out there in front of Carl and Strawman. Draisaitl carrying it in with Purcell, and Draisaitl is offside. 1:05 left on this power play. Tomorrow on Fox, the Fall Classic begins as the San Francisco Giants continue their quest for their third World Championship in the last 5 years against the Kansas City Royals, who look to stay unbeaten in these playoffs. Coverage of the World Series begins tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox and streaming live at Fox Sports Go. Ryan Callahan has suffered a lower body injury and will not return to this game. Lightning without Alex Killorn, injured in the morning skate. Surprisingly replaced by Jonathan Drouin, making his NHL debut. Victor Hedman out 4 to 6 weeks. Expected to have surgery tomorrow to repair a broken finger. Radko Gudas still out with a lower body injury. Now Callahan out for the rest of this game. As the Lightning clear the zone and 30 seconds to go on the penalty to Nemestikov. Purcell gains the line. Draisaitl with it. He's got a point, but doesn't have a goal yet. This is 6th game. Taps his stick on the ice over losing that puck. The Lightning clear it out.
Yeah, there's talk that they might send him back down. He's got up to 9 games. So they have to make that decision.
David Perron missing as he looked top corner long side on Bishop. Ball is bumped by Garrison, who didn't know the puck was behind him. David Perron found it. And it's back on the ice. Nemestikov. Lightning killed a penalty. Draisaitl, by the way, playing his junior hockey in Prince Albert in the Western Hockey League. Marinchin's shot is tipped out of play by Boyle with under 8 minutes to go in this third period. The Lightning still trailing by a goal. Period, the Lightning.
Nice diamond performance presented by Ackerman Jewelers, and of course, Jonathan Drouin, his first game in the National Hockey League. You can see there that's coming into this game, or this third period, rather. He's had a number of takeaways, excellent setups, which failed to get some opportunity on goal. But, well, I'll tell you what, you can see a preview of what's going to happen when this young man gets really used to this league and get going. He had a tremendous first game already.
Oilers will fire the puck back in the Lightning zone. Edmonton had gone without a goal for over 90 minutes. From late in their loss in Arizona through the shutout and into this one. Here's Stamkos feeding it for Palat. Ends up with Stamkos behind the net. Scrimmage was scrambling in that goal mouth. He had committed to Stamkos and barely got back in time. The Oilers have the 2-1 lead on the penalty shot goal by Taylor Hall. All 3 goals occurring in the second period. Palat shooting. It's tipped on goal and Scrimmage a pad save. Bill Palat at center. Puck deflected. Palat has it. Getting it down to Carl. Just over 7 minutes to go in the third. Conley busting it into the zone off the bench. And Carl looking for him. It's fired away. Barberio with a shot, and that's scuffed to the Oiler defense. Bain plays it out. This will be icing. Well, now they waved it off. Gene Heyer had indicated that there was going to be
periods, and that one is deflected out of play as we bring in Scott Hope.
All right, Jim, a bit of housekeeping. The Oilers will finish the game. A defenseman short is Brandon Davidson is not returning to the game. The guess is his injury occurred on this collision with Matthew Tkachuk behind the net. Not sure what the extent of the injury is, but again, a guess would be upper body.
He was really slow to get up. He didn't want to engage in any of the straps or any of the wrestling that was going on there. Already the Oilers are running through him.
The guess is his injury occurred on this collision with Matthew Tkachuk behind the net. Not sure what the extent of the injury is, but again, a guess would be upper body.
He was really slow to get up. He didn't want to engage.
The family together. Puck angles off the lively boards. Brewer controls it. Taken by Purcell. He's got an open man. Perron. Now he's got Draisaitl. Stop there by Bishop. Then Bishop another 10-beller. And the Oilers continue to work for opportunities. And Bishop a right shoulder save there on Perron. Racing for Drouin. Gets shouldered off by Ferentz. Perron shoved off the puck by Brewer. Johnson waiting as Kucherov now joins him off the bench. Perron fires it. Comes to Johnson. Blocks it. Conley shoots. He scores! Brett Conley fires it home, and this one's going to count. And the Lightning have tied it with 6:05 to go in the third.
I was just going to say they're not going to be able to call goalie interference on this, but excellent play on the part of Tyler Johnson to really set this up. 13:55 will be the time, but he held the play in, failed to play in, and then the Kucherov, a nice forecheck, and there's Johnson right there, finding it to Conley, who's quick shot, but underneath the arm and above the pad of Scrivens, and it is a tie hockey game. Conley's second of the year. I was just going to say, Rick, with Callahan out, they moved Filppula up on the right side with Stamkos and Palat.
And the Oilers now with Nikita. Tyler Johnson, the only assist on the goal as Brown trying to track down a loose puck that Scrivens watched travel through his crease to the slot. Garrison. Out comes Schuster, cutting through Brown. Oilers have it back. Mark Fane. Schultz figured to see a lot of the action down the stretch. Nugent Hopkins into that zone, walks it in, trying to feed it through. Filppula took it away. Lightning had everybody back, and they all backed off.
Yeah, when you're outnumbering the offensive team like that, you got to make the play at the blue line.
Hall. Everly in that zone, playing it to Taylor Hall, turns away from Strowman. Everly pulls the trigger, he fires it wide. Picked up by Filppula. Stamkos with him in a 2-on-4. Now joining the play is Carl. Lightning will change behind him. He'll just slide it down the boards. Kucherov into the action in there. Spilled Ferentz, but the Oilers clear the zone. Hendricks bouncing it in behind Bishop. Barberio got in there quickly. Taken away by Boyd Gordon. Hendricks controls. Needs the point. Ferentz looks toward the net. Can't get a shooting angle against J.T. Brown. But tapped away by Carl, and the Lightning trying to clear it. Can't do it. Brown went down trying to get it out of the zone, and they ruled that it did leave the zone. Played back in offside. 4:19 to go in the third. Lightning with a late rally. They tied it 2. All right, from here, the team traveling to Calgary, and they'll take on the Flames tomorrow night. Our coverage starting at 8:30 with Lightning Live pregame. The Bolts and the Flames. Right here in Sun Sports.
Big goal by Brett Collins. Wow. Lightning had done a tremendous job. The only shot
this right here
that Edmonton had up until that point was on the power play. And they're doing a really good job. Since then, they've had a couple more.
Shots 8-5 Lightning here in the third period. Arcabello in the corner, checked by Johnson. And the Lightning close ranks, come up with it. Jonathan Drouin at center. Going to fight off the check from Pouliot. Nikita chased in there by Andre Schuster. It's fired on goal from the boards, and a save by Scrivens, who had to be alert there. Conley letting it go again. He's feeling it, Chief.
I'll tell you what, that's what Brian Boyle mentioned that in that interview. Second period, we got to take some shots. Just make things simple, and that one there was a very wide-angle shot below the hash marks, and it almost snuck its way through Scrivens.
Well, he put one by him that didn't count from the left wing board. Scored from the slot. He was looking to round things out for the right wing board. Flat shot didn't make it through. Oilers busted out with Everly dumping it in. Carl trying to get to it, and he does. Filppula working with Palat and Stamkos. As Chief noted, Filppula joining those two on this line. As for Stamkos, picked off by Everly. Nugent Hopkins shoots, he scores! He had time to run up and Oilers busted out with Everly dumping it in. Carl trying to get to it, and he does. Oilers busted out with Everly dumping it in. Carl trying to get to it, and he does. Filppula working with Palat and Stamkos. As Chief noted, Filppula joining those two on this line. As for Stamkos, picked off by Everly. In this third period. to get to it. This will result in an icing call, but against the Lightning.
Well, that's been a big problem with them so far in the first 5 games, that their big guns haven't really scored outside of Taylor Hall. Hopkins getting his first here tonight.
And you brought up Arcabello's out there now, Chief. Was among their leading scorers and their only plus player coming into this game for on shooting save by Bishop.
Eberle hasn't scored a goal yet. Those are the 3 top goal scorers for them last year, and Eberle, of course, got that interceptor, that pass to set up the goal.
Barberio shooting, and it's off a stick, bounce to the corner. Boyle works to hold it in. And it's played out. Arcabello had to reach back for it. Brown takes it. Barberio heads up ice. Fresh forwards on for the Lightning. Drew after Conley and Johnson. Now Garrison coming on. Haskins back to center as Schuster was changing for Barberio. 2:20 to go in the third. Tyler Johnson setting up the Conley goal to tie it at 2. Starts it in. Barrett's had the right angle on him. Drouin coming up with it. Back to Johnson. Side of the goal. It's punched away. Drouin just in the right spot, Chief. Has come up with a number of pucks.
He sure reads the play well.
Pass here was played away by Joensuu. Conley fires across to Schuster, throws it into open ice. Hendricks has it, shoots, and it's deflected away by Bishop. Boyd Gordon, the former Capital, knocked down by Garrison. Hendricks storms in there. Schuster has the puck. Finds Conley. Conley spinning it to center, but it's Hendricks there to steal. Eakins has to be happy with his fourth line on that shift as Schuster has it. Filppula circles.
Boy, what a great job by Edmonton right now. They're just really forcing the Lightning to play in their zone.
Bishop trying to get off. And as the play moves to the Edmonton line, Bishop making his move. Palat couldn't get the shot away against Mark Fane. 6 skaters on, an empty net for the Lightning. Stroman pinching in, backed up by Kucherov, the extra skater on. Rinchin, double team behind the net. Stamkos trying to pop it in front. Nugent Hopkins has it. Now with under a minute to go in the third period, Stroman heads back. Taylor Hall on him. Now Carl. Starting it ahead. Lightning trying to tie it down 3-2. Palat looked to wheel in the zone. Interrupted by Eberle, who was spilled to the ice, but he held off the Lightning. Filppula shoots it in. 32 seconds to go. Petrie reversing. Kucherov digging in that corner. Puck taken over by Hendricks. And he'll play it across for Jordan Eberle. Couldn't try toward the empty net. It was tipped by Carl. And we get the whistle with a puck deflecting out of play behind the Lightning net. Face off at center. 20.6 to play.
Let's take a look at our Steak and Shake 3 stars of the night, brought to you by Steak and Shake. And as you see there was the lead goal right now. Also a assist. You see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Taylor Hall has been an unbelievable player all night long for Edmonton. And Brett Conley had a tremendous game for the Lightning, tying the game for them, and looked like they could have forced it into overtime. And he's our number 3.
Lightning using their timeout now at 20.6 to play in the third period. And trailing 3-2. Bishop sitting on the boards as the faceoff is just outside the Tampa Bay zone.
Oh! Now!
Well, I think safely say that Jonathan Drouin's first game in the National Hockey League was very impressive.
Involved in a number of scoring chances. Recovered a number of
Hockey League was very impressive.
Involved in a number of scoring chances.
Well, I think safely say that Jonathan Drouin's first game in the National Hockey League was very impressive.
Involved in a number of scoring chances. Recovered a number of pucks. chances. Recovered a number of pucks. We saw, as you mentioned, Keith, the Bishop. Lightning still without Bishop, going with the 6 skaters. As Boyle leaning in on his faceoff. Bishop, Lightning still without Bishop, going with the 6 skaters. As Boyle leaning in on his faceoff. It's loose. And played back. Stroman has it. And Drouin is on the ice in this situation. Pucks. We saw and that's going to do it. It's loose. And played back. Stroman has it. And Drouin is on the ice in this situation.
Going to be very happy about the one that wasn't called. And then the call that McDavid got for the penalty shot. Entertaining night in the first game at Rogers Place on Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey. Oilers by 2 through 2.
The Finnish born winger, Chris, from outside the Lightning. Physical player play. 22 and giving Edmonton a spin in the 60s Fahrenheit.
Active, as he pointed out in that interview with Paul and Chris, that they've got to start making more simpler plays and getting more shots on the net. When we looked at the stats, Lightning only had 14 shots towards the net, including missed shots and block shots, and Edmonton had 24. So you can see much more active in the offensive zone, the Oilers, and consequently they're up 2-1.
Here's our chase review. You see the shots that were on the net. The Oilers have a 1-shot advantage, and neither team has scored with a man advantage. An edge for the Lightning in the face-off circle. Stamkos and Boyle doing a good job.
You see they out-hit the Lightning right now. They're more engaged, or were in that period. We'll see. The Lightning can step it up a bit here in the third.
Lightning at 20 hits, out-hitting the Canucks 20-11 on Saturday night. But as you saw there, out-hit to this point. 1:20 to go on the minor penalties for roughing to J.T. Brown and Matt Hendricks. Open ice and a fresh sheet of ice to start this third period. Lightning have Stamkos and Palat in front of Carl and Stroman. And Palat takes over the puck. Getting it to Stamkos, checked by Taylor Hall, who has a goal and an assist in this game. Marincin turns the net. Chased back by Stamkos. Now encounters Palat. Leaving it on the corner, Nugent Hopkins trying to get to it. And Stamkos there to cut him off. Marincin looking for Jordan Eberle. 28 goals last year on the season. To help lead the Oilers in that department, Jeff Petrie off the Edmonton bench. Chased now by Nikita Kucherov. Carl sees he's got Pouliot bearing down on him. Stroman throws it across for Kucherov. 23 seconds to go in the penalties. Little bounce one in on Scrivens. Kucherov gets it again now. Scrivens.
Oh, big save. And finally they take that shot, and a good forecheck on the part of Brown and Kucherov to take this puck. They're right after him. They came out there, but watch Scrivens get right up there at the top of the crease, making sure that he had his glove hand above the pad, and that's where the shot ended up. Nice save by the Edmonton goal.
Scrivens in the Toronto organization played considerably in the AHL for Dallas Aikens with the Toronto Marlies and against John Cooper's Norfolk Admirals a couple of years ago.
The half wall for Edmonton for the middle. Scrivens.
Full strength with Hendricks and Brown rejoining the action of the box. Brown with some pressure along with Kucherov. Hendricks has it. And the Keaton had it broken up. Here's Domestikov shooting and well saved by
YouTube. Roomy tap. Sir.
Brown with some pressure along with Kucherov. Hendricks has it. And the Keaton had it broken up. Here's Domestikov shooting a glove save.
Darren Gibbs and Mark Wheat.
Compliment.
The now statement of having Johnny Gaudreau back in the lineup with the new deal is going to give them energy. And we saw Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky skating around the rink. And I think the natural passing of the torch is the new captain, Connor McDavid. No question who the star is here. What an opportunity to build his own legacy in this amazing new build.
Lots of new things tonight. First game for Matthew Tkachuk.
No question who. I think the natural passing of the torch is the new captain, Connor McDavid. No question who the star is here. And what an opportunity to build his own legacy in this amazing new build.
Lots of new things tonight. First game for Matthew Tkachuk, who's on the new build. Lots of new things tonight.
First game, he's skating around the rink, and I think the natural passing of the torch is the new captain, Connor McDavid. No question who the star is here. And what an opportunity to build his own legacy in this amazing new build.
Lots of new things tonight. First game.
Brown. On defense, make up for the loss of Edmonton. And it's tipped out of play by Petrie. But the other 5D, their ice time through 2 periods, all within about 3 minutes of each other, trying to make up for the loss of Edmonton.
Here's another kick.
They're trying to make up for the loss of Edmonton.
Here's another chance. You see, it was deflected by Tyler Johnson. And very quick hands and quick feet by Jonathan Drew was able to try and get that wrapper on, but Scrivens is that tall goaltender. He gets those long legs to that post quickly.
Arcabello wins the...
Tyler Johnson and very quick hands and quick feet by Jonathan Drew was able to try and get that wrapper on, but Scrivens is that tall goaltender. He gets those long legs to that post quickly.
Arcabello wins the faceoff. Now as Yakupov playing it back to the corner. Here comes that line again. Conley, Boyle, and Morrow getting things stirred up in the zone as Arcabello couldn't get away from Morrow. Morrow reaching back for the puck. It's by the stick of Pouliot. He's spun around by Boyle. Guided to center. Arcabello out of Yale. Undrafted. In 3 years in the minors for the Oilers. Finally made the team last year and made his mark offensively with this club. It's dumped back into the Lightning zone, and Carl getting to it. Lightning have come out with the only 3 shots on net here in the third period, and Scrivens has had to be good on every one of them. Here's Stan. Still done. And it's the right by Solomon net, right? And it's first overall in 2000. Take clear the zone and slowly into the zone, avoiding icing. Bain getting to it and deflected off the referee. Kazari and covered by 6 seconds.
Second period. Backdoor pass and it hit the actually Edmonton defenseman on his skate and ricochet pass. And very surprised. Ben Scrivens for the Lightning's only goal in Brian's first goal as a Lightning at 1:22 of that second period.
For Matthew
H.H. Craig, high-def highlight.
Paul and Chris pointed out that Boyle had
inside
insurance. In a goal that didn't count. Here's
on the board.
Flames
coach against the Edmonton Oilers.
Before he shoots the puck, he knows where he wants to go, makes a quick turn, escapes 2 forecheckers, and bang, the Oilers are out of their zone. Something they desperately need is defensemen who can get the puck going north.
2 assists in that game on Wednesday.
Defenseman gets his head to signings because he does stuff like this. He is a terrific puck retrieval defenseman. Gets his head turned before he even gets the puck. He knows where he wants to go, makes a quick turn, escapes 2 forecheckers, and bang, the Oilers are out of their zone. Something they desperately need is defensemen who can get the puck going north.
2 assists in that game on Wednesday. Yoki Baka, wrist shot, glove save.
Desperately.
Sean Monahan gets his first goal.
So I think that Monahan. Thank you, Roger. And yeah, for no training camp, no preseason with Chris Russell, I thought he was pretty good.
11 games against.
It's an excellent shift for that one. It's an excellent shift for that line because now he's kept that Edmonton line out there for extra time, and they've already used their timeout.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Tampa Bay Lightning is prohibited. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Tampa Bay Lightning is prohibited.
Really hits there for that puck. It's an excellent shift for that line, because now he's kept that Edmonton line out there for extra time, and they've already used their timeout.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Tampa Bay Lightning is prohibited. And Callahan not in action here in this third period for the Lightning, and he's down on the bench. Pass along word on that when we get it. As to what his status is, Barberio with a pass to Brown, poked away at the line. Worked free by Brown. Mestikov trying to walk in front, but not against the sturdy Nikita Nikitin. However, there's going to be a penalty to the Lightning. Chance Beverly. Schultz around the horn. Hall shooting. Saved by Bishop. Hall has really been firing. Going to get his team in the win column for the first time this year. They start the year 0-4-1. Beverly settles it down. Fires it back for Taylor Hall.
Chris Russell.
It's the poorest start in the history of this team. Winless in 5.
Beverly. Back to Schultz with the shot. Deflected off. Bully out in front, and it bounced wide of the Lightning net. Tampa Bay getting a hold of it and clearing with 1:18 to go in the penalty to Nemestikov. Andre Palat, Tyler Johnson out there in front of Carl and Strawman. Draisaitl is offside. 1:05 left on this power play.
1.1 left in overtime.
Tomorrow on Fox, the Fall Classic begins as the San Francisco Giants continue their quest for their third World Championship in the last 5 years against the Kansas City Royals to look to stay unbeaten in these playoffs. Coverage of the World Series begins tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox and streaming live at Fox Sports Go. As the San Francisco Giants continue their quest for their third World Championship in the last 5 years against the Kansas City Royals to look to stay unbeaten in these playoffs. Coverage of the World Series begins tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, only on Fox and streaming live at Fox Sports Go.
Second intermission, they're not going to be very happy about the one that wasn't called. And then the call that McDavid got for the penalty shot. Entertaining night in the first game at Rogers Place on Scotiabank Wednesday night hockey. Oilers by 2 through
2012. Back from Petrie smoothly to center for Edmonton. Second period. Edmonton a 2 the Maple Leafs. Nobody ever.
Pitches back to him.
And what do you have for your shootout?
3. And he just took Johnson was standing right there, came in and just drilled him against the bar. Nobody ever answered back to him.
And a penalty shot goal. The chances of an even strength goal, but he drilled him against the bar. Nobody ever
answered back to him.
And a penalty shot goal. Count. 15.6 seconds to play.
The guy that I just go advantage of the way he gets all the stuff he gets away with is that fair. 4'3". And he just took Johnson.
15.6 seconds to play.
And he just took Johnson was standing right there. He came in there and just drilled him against the bar.
Ford has scored, including Paul and Chris.
Local testing. Oh, scores!
0% vertically scored.
Boy would like to make it memorable in his third period, laying down a goal.
I think they have to get much more active, as he pointed out in that interview with Paul and Chris, that they've got to start making more simpler plays and getting more shots on the net. When we looked at the stats, Lightning only had 14 shots towards the net, including good shots and block shots, and Edmonton had 24. So you can see much more active in the offensive zone, the Oilers, and consequently they're up 2-1.
Here's our chase review. You see the shots.
Simpler plays.
McDavid. Goal. First shooter. Here's the shootout.
The Lightning got Edmonton a lead of 2-1. He's Fahrenheit. And it's great to be here this time of year.
Paul and Chris, that they've got to start making more simpler plays and getting more shots on the net. When we look at the stats, Lightning only had 14 shots towards.
0% vertically.
The net, including Paul and Chris, that
Boy would like to
Second round.
memorable in his third period. The Lightning here this time of year. Brian Boyle would like to make it memorable in his third period. The Lightning down a goal.
I think they have to get much more active.
And it's great to be here this time of year. Brian Boyle would like to make it a Balmy.
0% vertically. 10 minutes.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Oh.
57, giving Edmonton a lead of 2-1. They got a shot advantage of 16 to get Taylor Hall's fourth goal of the season on the penalty shot is 14:57, giving Edmonton a lead of 2-1. They've got a shot advantage of 16. And it's great to be here this time of year. Brian Boyle would like to make it memorable in his third period.
5 minutes, 24 seconds.
I think they have to get much more active, as he pointed out in that interview with Paul and Chris, that they've got to start making more simpler plays and getting more shots on the net. When we look at the stats, Lightning only had, he pointed out in that interview with Paul and Chris, that they've got to start making more simpler plays and getting more shots on the net. When we look at the stats, Lightning only had 14 shots towards the net, including good shots and block shots, and they had more simpler plays.
Lightning only had 14 shots towards the net, including good shots and block shots.
They're up 2-1.
Here's our chase review. You see the
Surely at least.
NHL 2014, 10-20-10.
They're going to do it. 3-2 in the final here in the shootout. Just one final notice that the Battle of Alberta is on. Will continue Friday in Calgary.
Mini player pause keyboard, play keyboard sheet. 1 hour 31 minutes 21 seconds at 1 hour 35.
Look to get a shot in. Larson battling with Backlund. Kachuk goes after him, and I agree, Jim. That's the great thing about playing a rival two-game.
And he's our number 3.
Lightning using their time up now at 20.6 to play in the fifth. Ball going to the set.
1 hour 35 minutes 23 seconds at 1 hour 35 minutes 56.
Harrison tries lock through and
One hour
Cribbins and his teammates
1 hour 35 minutes 47 seconds at 1 hour 35 minutes 56 seconds.
Losing Kevin, then losing Killorn. Callahan not able to play in the third period of this one. And they've got to recover quickly as they visit the Flames tomorrow night. Join us here on Sun Sports. Lightning Live postgame coming up next.
NHL 2014.
Caps and Oilers soon to unfold here at Rexall Place, where hockey's religion and sometimes it can